Hi guys, and welcome back. We have not really sure what we were going to do today because last night Quentin started running a tiny bit of a fever and his oxygen was just a tiny bit low, and this morning he wasn't feeling 100% and his fever was a little higher and oxygen was a little lower. But as the morning went on, he started feeling better, and so we decided to just keep on with our plans. And you know, if he ends up with pneumonia later on, it's just what's going to happen. So we had plans to come up to a town about 30 or so miles away. We had to go to the bank, and today is at the nature center. They're doing Eagle Days, and so we wanted to come for that. So we packed a lunch, and we're eating lunch in the parking lot, and it is super, super busy. It's more busy than we've ever seen it. As soon as everybody's done with lunch, we're going to head in. They're going to do some eagle feedings and have different activities for the kids. And then while we're up here, we're going to go ahead and do our grocery shopping.
And we're all at the movie, the little short movie.
Yeah, they do have little short movies. But anyway, so that's kind of our plan for today. Go see how big you guys are. Get your...
Now I can put her head in it and I'll stand above her.
Your head you don't put just put your face in, baby.
That's amazing.
Okay.
7.5 foot wingspan. That's what we've got. We've got a 12 stand.
Okay.
My head fits.
Well, it's a lot smaller.
Okay.
Ooh, look at the nest, guys.
Eagle nest.
Yeah,
Where?
right here. That's about how big their nest is. You guys can sleep in there.
Ow.
Oh, there's one, guys. Yes, as the seagull nest was removed from Lake of the Ozarks during highway improvement.
I know those are.
It's already open.
Go on down to the auditorium.
Okay, thank you.
In the auditorium. There's two of them. Just don't let them get after you.
They carry you off.
Where'd Annie go?
You excited?
Yeah. And there's one over there. Hello. We're at the nature center. We're waiting for the eagles.
1 minute.
And also, I lost 2 teeth not yesterday, but maybe the day before. Show them your super smile. Tongue out. Not like that. You know, in between the cracks.
Well, we're so happy to see everybody. What a full crowd we have this afternoon. How many of you have been to an Eagle Days program before? Quite a few of you. And how many is this your very first time? All of you. Well, thank you for coming out. Good. That lets me know what kind of audience I'm talking to. So, I always say I've never spoken at brunch before, so it'll be all whatever I say, right? To those of you that have come back. Anyhow, we're here, as you mentioned, to celebrate eagles. And the Eagle Day programs, you're taking part in something that is nearly 40 years old. They started in 1978 in December, so we're coming up on the 40th. And they were a different tone back then. She's ready to come out, our special guest here. All right, all right. Some water in the wintertime, you probably always saw eagles. But in the spring and summer, We didn't have any. Starting in 1964, the last active nest failed to produce young. In 64, the adults abandoned it and we no longer had any nesting eagles. And so what we're here today to do, a different tone from back then of raising, we're still going to keep raising awareness, but now it's more of a celebration and a cautionary tale too, but mostly a celebration that we had such a successful restoration program. Hundreds, that million number had just about cut in half, but still a viable, healthy population. They're not in danger at that point. But then you get up into the middle of last century, after the 1940s, and suddenly the population crashes. Now we're not seeing dead eagles around, but they're not producing at any kind of rate, and in fact we stopped seeing juveniles altogether in many places in the country. We got down to below 1,000. We have about 450 active nests in the whole, what we call the continental United States. There were healthy populations still in areas up around the Great Lakes and in some of the northern states, but the rest of the country didn't have nesting eagles anymore. So what happened? Falling mosquitoes and other insects. And it was called DDT. And they was so good at it that they thought after the war, instead of just spraying it in these jungle areas, well, they'd bring it here, they'd spray it in our cities, and they just fogged the streets. They said that it didn't hurt people, and it didn't hurt anything except for these pesky insects. They in fact made little peaks of it and had soldiers take ice cream to show that it didn't hurt people. It was silent spraying, talking about what this chemical was doing to bird populations. And one of the things that it did with the eagles in particular, it also did it with the geese, the peregrine falcons, and other birds. Why? Because the females not to be able to take in and hold calcium. And you know, their eggs need calcium in order to be formed properly. And what was happening is the shells were too thin. And when that large bird would sit on them to incubate, why the shells had just crushed. And when that happened, well, there were no young eagles being born. Like I said, that last nest in Missouri failed in 64. Correct. Took 10 years. By 1972, before they banned the use of DDT in the United States. They didn't ban the manufacture, it's still made, it's still used in other countries, but it is banned for use here. And when that happened, it gave the eagles and some of these other birds a chance to survive. That same period of time brought about the Endangered Species Act and the Endangered Species List. And of course the eagle was immediately placed on it. And like I said, it was down below 1,000 birds. Well, see, an eagle, they only raise one clutch of young a year. And that young, they lay one egg, and 3 or 4 or 5 days later, they'll lay a second egg, and 3 or 4 or 5 days later, they'll lay a third egg, maybe. And then they hatch in that same order because they incubate immediately. And of those, when that first bird hatches out, why, it starts eating immediately and they grow really fast. And then the second bird hatches 3, 4, 5 days later and it starts eating and it tries to catch up with that first one. By the time little number 3 hatches, it's got 2 great big siblings and that third one hardly ever makes it. But even those other 2, if they make it to fledge or fly from the nest, still only about 30% of them make it through their first year because it's tough to learn how to hunt and fish out there. That where the nest is and the young first fly from that nest, well, they'll come back within 50 miles of that when they're mature to find a mate and build their own nest and have their own young. So again, if we didn't have a nest here in Missouri, we were never going to have one unless we did something. And what we did was we would go up in those areas where there were still healthy populations, in Wisconsin and Minnesota, and even up in Alaska, and watch those nests. And when they had a third egg, as soon as that third egg hatched, those guys, either brave or crazy, I'm not sure which, a little of both, or they go up in those trees and they grab those little eaglets and they bring them back to Missouri. They put them in artificial nest box. There were two places, Shell Osage, not terribly far from here, and Mingo down in the Boot Hill. They built those big towers. They put them in there and they climb up and push food in there, but they do it so that the birds couldn't see them, so they didn't know humans were involved in giving them food. And then at 12 weeks, when they were old enough to fly, they pull open those hatch boxes and let them go free and fly out of that 1980s. The last group came out in 1989. There were 9 of them, and they had a little extra funds that year. So they got radio transmitters, and they put them on the back of their tail feathers. Now all these birds were banded. They had wing bands, they had wrist or leg bands, so they could tell they were a Missouri bird. But then they had these radio transmitters on them. And they followed these birds around. Well, one bird, after 3 days, that one transmitter didn't move. So the agent that was following them went out, and he tracked that transmitter down thinking it had fallen off. And what he found was a bird laying there, ill, had not eaten, dehydrated, near death. And he brought it into the Dickerson Park Zoo, and the staff there at the time would hold this big eagle like a baby and push food into this big beak until she was strong enough to stand on her own and eat. And once she was strong enough to eat, then she got stronger and stronger. And what do we do with her? Do we release her again? We don't know why she failed to survive out there. And she's been hand-fed. So they decided, no, she would stay with us as an ambassador. And she's about to come out of this crate right now. Maybe. This would be Phoenix. And Phoenix is going to be 29 years old. She was part of the original restoration. And she's been doing programs just like this since she was 6 months old. She always likes to have her say when she comes out. All of us, we don't hear so well out of our left ears, as you can imagine. She likes to turn right into that ear, really go at it. And I'll tell you about that. So she's decided she was preening a little bit. It warmed up, and she had to get rid of some of those under feathers that keep her warm. And she's got one stuck in her nose. And now she's redecorating too. We say we never have a good hair day when you handle the birds either. They blow it all around. So, not quite yet. All right, there we go. No? You'd probably rather hear her talking about, right? Does that sound surprising? Right? You don't got enough eagles around here. It probably doesn't, right? You know that's what an eagle sounds like. But if you watch a movie or a TV show, they always play a red-tailed hawk sound. Movie makers don't think that's dignified or something. Now, I know she has a feather on her nose. We've asked her to get it out. Any volunteers want to come up and pull it off here? Yeah, no, I'm kidding. You'll notice she has a Kevlar glove on her right hand as well as her left hand, because she's a big girl, and she is an alpha. Not all of them are, but she likes to be in charge. See, we're just her housekeepers and her cooks and her chauffeur, and the rest of it she comes. If you have a chance out in the lobby there in the theater area, they're playing a movie by the Department of Conservation that Phoenix stars in. So she's a movie star. She's done 2 movies, and she was even on the cover of the Conservationist magazine, one issue, and so she has the big head, you know. She treats us like we're her servants there, so. And we let her because she's special, right? So she was very instrumental in bringing bringing the eagles back to this state. Because like I mentioned, they started this all through the 80s. Well, it takes 5 years for one of these birds to reach maturity. And sometimes it takes 6 or 7 before they find a mate and come back and nest. So it was a long-term bet that they were doing, a gamble. They'd never tried this before. Will it work? Well, within 4 years, they had a first nest starting. And with 5 years, they had a pair that were nesting. And so they thought, wow, this is going to work. Well, I'll tell you, it worked. Because since 1964, as of 2016, we have 284 active nests in the state of Missouri alone. That's up from 450 in the whole country. And also, by 2017, every single state in the continental U.S. and Alaska has nesting eagles now. Look at her. Isn't she regal looking? Well, maybe not with the feathers sticking out of her nose. But you know what you really have to worry about when they sit them on your arm is those talons and feet. See, her feet are about the size of my hand. And then you add about an inch talon onto it. And then they have a grip strength of about, depending on what you read, 450 to 2,000 pounds per square inch of grip strength. They've got some gripper meters out there at one of the tables. Try that. See what your grip strength is compared to the eagle. There really isn't any comparison, even for the strongest amongst you. So if she grips down, when they're training us, we always have two, even now, we have 2 people when we work with her present. We have an extra set of gloves over there if we got to help her out. But our real role is to be able to dial 911 when she claims to. They can only lift half their body weight. She weighs between 13 and 14 pounds, so somewhere around 7 pounds is all she can lift. But if you imagine up in Alaska, those great big salmon, some of those are heavier than that. And a young hungry bird sees a great big fish and gets into it, well, they have these tendons in their toes that ratchet in. And as long as that fish is wiggling, it won't let go. It's to help them keep their prey. But those fish can actually drag them under the water and drown them. They say in Alaska that is one of the biggest hazards to bald eagles, is the fish. But if they get something that is too big to lift off, but not big enough to pull them under, or if they just dive in too aggressively and they get all wet, they're not like a duck. They can't just take off out of the water. They use their great big wings to row themselves to shore. They can swim. Ready to go. So once they are ready to fly, really? Okay. So once you go back to me, right? So once they're ready to fly from the nest and have their flight feathers on them, they are all brown in that first year, head to toe. Brown eyes, brown beak, brown feathers, head and tail, and their feet and legs are kind of tan. Second year, they get all speckledy. It looks like somebody took a paintbrush, stuck it in a can of paint, and flashed it all over them. And they get all kinds of, there's no, there's no particular pattern to it, just white specks. Start getting some white feathers on their head. Their eyes are still brown and their beak starts to turn. Move it off there. Yeah, we gotta show this. You wanna show it? You wanna look at it first this time? Yeah, you do. Yeah, she likes this picture because it's her when she was 3. So this is her baby picture. We call these the masked bandits because they have the black feathers right behind their eye. Their beak's starting to turn yellow. And like I said, they have some of the white feathers. Yeah. She's just a little thing. Like, oh, you're welcome to see it again. There you go. She was a cutie. Now let me tell you about this next guy that's coming out. He's going to behave differently than she does because he was in the wild for much longer than she was. We have a different relationship with him and he is very nervous. So if you can keep the movement and just try and stay as quiet as possible and move as little as possible, it'll help him tremendously because he's jumpy. But even if it wasn't just him being a wild bird and all, it would be his nature anyhow, because golden eagles, which he is, are solitary birds. Where they live in the wild, they don't even like other golden eagles around them. Unlike the bald eagles, where there's a big group of them down on the river, they would never be in a big group like that. So coming in here with all these people close around him is just completely against his nature. And so that's always a challenge to the handlers here. So he'll jump around a bit, but again, the more stillness and quiet we have, the better it'll be. And listen to him as he comes out. He sounds very different as well. He always makes a spectacular entrance there. So that sound he's making is his normal vocalization. It's much different from the bald eagle. And you probably will notice right away, I had to look at her really good, he sits very different, and he is much smaller, right? Much smaller than she is. Like I said, she weighs between 13 and 14 pounds, he weighs about 8. But now, I don't want you going away thinking golden eagles are smaller than bald eagles. They are not. But in the raptor world, in the birds of prey, females are about a third larger than males. So it's a gender difference you're seeing. She is top end in the female size, and he's about normal for a male. He has different shaped wings. And that's because he doesn't fish at all. He's a hunter. He hunts mammals. And he's built for speed and agility. One of the things he likes best are rabbits. And if you ever see one run from something, they'll make a zigzag pattern and they can really move. Well, he can follow that, snag them on the wing. He can take down big prey too. He can take down a full-size deer. That's pretty amazing for a bird. In fact, I told you that bald eagles are found just in North America. Well, golden eagles are found all around the globe north of the equator. So we share them with the whole world. And other snakes in general. They have a really neat way of getting them. See, they spread their wings out and they do this little dance. And they get right in front of that snake and they entice it to strike at the feathers on their wings. Well, they can't hurt the bird if they strike the feathers. But while it's over here after those feathers, there's a talon and a beak coming up behind and get them. So, really good strategy for hunting venomous snakes. It is a federal offense to harm an eagle, or to harass a nest, or even to own a feather to protect these birds. And so, the nests get really big. They start out big and they get huge. In fact, the bald eagle nest, the largest one, was in Florida. It tumbled the sycamore tree that it was in because it got so big. And it was a long time ago. It was about 2 tons in weight, and they drove a Volkswagen Beetle into it. I'm waving my hands around too much. And so they drove a Beetle into it, and to show how big that nest was. But these guys, they nest differently. See, like I said, they're solitary birds, and they may build several nests, because with the bald eagle, where they place their nest next to water, that water source is probably going to be there next year when they come back. But the golden eagle, where they eat mammals, why, they might have built one nest along a prairie dog town, but that prairie dog town may have moved, or the rabbit population may have gone dad and take that area. And if they have a young male, he goes out beyond the females area. Well, that's what we think happened with Tequila, because he was a young male when he came into Missouri. Well, he got out in that outer ring and just kept going. We've had about 8 or 10 reports of golden eagles, reliable reports of them in the state of Missouri this winter. They've never nested here as far as we know. They don't nest here now, but they do wander in occasionally in the wintertime. And so one winter, he came wandering into Missouri, crossed over probably out of Oklahoma, down in the corner over a little town called Knoll. And here's what we think happened. He would have spotted a coyote. Yes, coyotes on the menu. And came down, latched into it, and when they take something that big, they do like a little rodeo move. They twist, like a bulldog and a steer, drop it down, And when he twisted on that coyote, he caught his wing in a fence. Now we know all this because the coyote was in a trap. The farmer had been having trouble with coyotes predating his livestock. He had permits to set the traps. He checked them regularly and found a kilo tangled in the fence. And so he called the NBC agent who helped him untangle it, brought it to the zoo, to our raptor rehab hospital. And on the side here, this wing facing you, those white feathers, those are scars. From 3 or 4 surgeries, he had to repair ligaments and tendons. He didn't break any bones, but those ligaments and tendons were damaged so much that while he can fly, he can't fly well enough or have enough endurance to catch the kind of prey he needs to survive. So he couldn't be released back into the wild. So that's why we have a kilo. Now if you notice on the back of his head, those golden feathers, in this light they show up pretty good, but in sunlight they are amazing. And that's where they get their name. From the time they fly from the nest throughout their whole life, they have those golden feathers on the back of their head. They lose the white on their tail feathers, but they maintain those white patches on theirs until age 5. He did not have white tail feathers, but he did have white shoulder patches, so we think he was about 4 years old when he encountered that coyote on that fateful day. And that was in 2005. So this year we think he is 17 years old. So he's been with us quite some time, and he's doing really well. A little jumpy, but not too bad, this program best. But to demonstrate that, if you picture a football field, and if that eagle could read, you put the eagle on one goal post and you hang a newspaper on the other goal post, it could read the fine print. Their eyes are that good. He has a pretty decent life with us. I have trouble looking at him during programs because I really see brown eyes. I didn't see anything. But we try to give him as good a life as we possibly can. Both eagles live in large mews that are like a large bedroom. They're tall and wide, and they can fly around in there. We bring them food on a regular basis and give them good vet care so they can live a nice life. All right, you never know about those exits. Yes, ma'am.
Sticky.
Oh yeah?
Feel it.
Ew. That's cute.
Feathers. You want those kids to stay warm. They'll be like your feathers to stay warm. And then how's an eagle's eyesight? Is it worse than ours? Is it better?
To see how strong you are if you can rip like an eagle.
Eagles have these yellow feet. They have yellow feet with no feathers on them. So let's get your feet on there for you. These are waterproof feet. There you go. And then eagles have this eyebrow up here. You know what that might be for? A big ridge above their eye. It helps keep the scent out of their eyes when they're flying. So what do we use to keep the scent out of our eyes? That's a good catch on the table there. And then, what do eagles use to get their food with? Their claws, their talons on their feet. So they use their fork like they use talons to stab their food with. And then they live outside all the time, right? So, besides keeping them warm, their feathers keep them dry. Just like we use an umbrella to stay dry. So there's your dryness. And you're all eagled up. Look over there and get your picture.
You get a staring contest?
Yeah.
You're not gonna win. Yeah, you win. Done.
Are you done? All right, she'll staple a thing on the back for just a second. Can you see anything?
I love it, Henry. I love it. I love the golden.
Very pretty.
Let's put it in somewhere.
Yeah.
I need my glasses.
Yeah. An awesome eagle mask. Can you see? Can you see? Yeah?
Out of the corner of my eyes, like.
Elizabeth can barely see. Do you want to do that other activity over there?
What other?
Right there.
What is it?
I don't know. You like to make flying eagle thing.
Eagle with glasses.
What's his name?
Start. Over there, looks like he's just tooting a lot.
Is that your bed?
What? The singing, dancing fish. Tra-la-la-la-la-la-la, tra-la-la-la-la-la-la, tra-la-la-la-la-la-la. And the singing trout fish.
How much it's built since we got in there.
It's gotten big since we've been inside.
Uh-huh. Well, nobody said our kids were efficient. No, Beth.
There's still a hole in the middle.
So did you guys have a good time?
Yeah.
Was it worth coming?
Yep.
What was something that you learned?
That eagles have a very great eyesight.
Yeah, they can see all the way to the end of the football field and read a newspaper if they could read. Elizabeth, what was something you learned?
Eagles are dangerous.
Yep, they can be very dangerous. They're pretty, but they're dangerous.
Especially the golden one.
Did you have a good time too?
Yes.
Good. Now we get to go to Aldi's. Yay!
I'm not dangerous at them.